Hello, good afternoon, all. This is Simply Grace saying welcome once again to this channel. It's so sunny here today. It's lovely. The weather is gorgeous, and I hope you're enjoying your afternoon wherever you are as well. Yes. So if you're new to this channel, I just want to say a very warm welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. And if you're one of my subscribers or you've been following this channel, again, I just like to say thank you so much for stopping by. Today, I would just like to talk. I've got 5 main areas really that I just like to touch upon. And as I always say, any comment, any observation, contribution, addition, whatever it is, always welcome on the channel. So it's like a kind of open discussion out there, so please feel free to make whatever your opinion or whatever ideas, just feel free to share as well. So the areas I would like to talk about today, and how we can try as much as possible to avoid a lot of issues or problem, especially as newcomers, new immigrants, which seems to be my target group, at least for all the or most of the videos I'm putting out there for now anyway. It's in the area of our marriage, our parenting, and our faith, our religion, or our belief system, and our work, how we can maintain good work balance, and of course how to set good priorities and goals for ourselves. So starting with the marriage, and how we can maintain good relationship with our spouse. It is very important that we realize that coming to the UK, the system we might find is a bit different. And like maybe back home, or in from the culture we're coming from, you don't necessarily have to know how much your husband is earning, say for example when it's to do with our finances. So I'm just using that as an example. You don't necessarily have to know what your spouse is earning, what your husband or what your wife, if your husband is the only one going out there to taking care of all your finances, or if the wife is the one doing so, civil servant, or maybe going to the market, running some sort of business. But in the UK, you might find that is one area that you're going to need to try and adjust, because all these adjustments they might be new to you. It might be a situation that, well, I'm not used to doing this. Nobody asks me how much I earn. But in the UK, these are the areas really that could cause a lot of headache if you're not prepared for the kind of openness and the kind of good communication that is going to have to be between you and your spouse, be it your husband or your wife, in making sure that everybody knows, so that you'll be in a good position to be able to plan your life, look after your children if you've got children, and meet all your expectations and all your expenses really. So I'm just using that, as I said, as an example. Good communication is very important. This is not a system where you can just turn around as a husband, well, I've got my own priorities, it's my money, I earn it, and I get to choose or decide what I do with it. It doesn't work like that, because you will find that the expenses, the burden of having to pay for your, starting from your house rent or whatever it is, it all that means is that you need to be open. You need to be in a kind of a good a situation where you can both be honest and open and plan. It takes a lot of planning so that your home and your home situation can continue. Basically, your home can continue to run smoothly. So let's just be mindful of this, that coming to the UK, that is one area that you're going to, and as I said, I'm just using your the financial part of things as just an example. It might even be your time. This is not a situation where you have a lot of support network of some grandparents there, some neighbors, some friends, that will normally help you, maybe with your children or this or that. It could even be that the husband and wife, you're doing opposite kind of shifts in order to be able to meet up with your demands. So it's very rarely a husband will know where the wife is, or the wife will know where the husband is. And it's important and useful not to take this as a kind of some sort of big broader kind of situation that somebody is watching over me or wanting to know what I'm doing. It is just a system. So let's just try to be mindful of that. Let's work together. Let's talk together. Let's try and adapt, in this area, so that we can avoid all these challenges. Parenting is the second one, and my some of my one or two of my previous videos, I think, actually touch on that, on the importance of making sure that we realize that the system here, when it comes to raising children, is different from most other cultures that maybe we are actually migrating from. So basically, children here have what I would say a better kind of a line of choices, basically. So let's work with these children. Let's speak to them. This is not a kind of system where as a father or as a mother you get to push your opinion or what you want, or maybe uncle or whatever on your children. Not that I'm saying anything is wrong with that. I'm not bashing that at all, because some of us come from a situation whereby it is like the survivor of the fittest, and you will find that depending on the kind of parents you are, your background will determine your career choice or what you go on maybe to become, and those decisions as well are usually made with the best interest at heart, especially in these other cultures, because of the lack of opportunities, very limited resources and opportunities. But it's useful to know that coming to the UK, our children will be exposed, hopefully, to much more kind of situations where they can make better choices for themselves. They would have friends, they'll have teachers, a lot of resources, really, as a kind of support package to help them to be able to make these decisions. So let's try and support them. Just forcing your own opinion on your children is not going to work. All it's going to do is just going to break the line of communication between you and your children, and then your home then becomes like a battlefield, which is not what you want. And of course, some of these children, the way children becomes independent here is much more different from maybe other cultures, as I said, because you don't want to lose your children at the situation whereby you are your children at loggerheads. They don't think you relate to them. They don't think you understand what they're going through. They don't think you actually appreciate that they do have their own other challenges as well, that they do need you to support them with, not necessarily what your own perceptions of how it should be or the way you were raised. So but all this we can avoid, as I said, through good communication, speaking to the children, taking time to spend some quality time with them, talking to them, and realizing as well that we might need to adjust the way we look at things. And of course, if you need any more clarification in regarding to parenting in the UK, what I find useful, from my personal experience and other people I've spoken to, please feel free to refer to my previous video. Now, the third thing I would like to touch upon is to do with our working situation in the UK. This is a situation whereby we all find ourselves, the demand and the roles and responsibility that we have to really wake up to and make sure that we meet up to the demand. Very, very important. And sometimes we can see that this is different really from maybe our attitude when we from the culture that we obviously moved to the UK from. This is not a culture, it's not a system where you can tell your employer, oh, sorry, I was late yesterday to the meeting, or I couldn't make it, and then tomorrow you do the same thing. There is definitely going to be consequences. This is not a situation where there is any kind of miracle anywhere that I will go and beg my Oga or my boss or whatever. It doesn't work like that. So let's realize that our responsibilities here when it comes to working, meeting up our financial demand, it is something that we need to take very seriously. I am sure if you've been in the UK even just for a month and you have been able to engage in the in any job or working kind of you would have realized that this is a situation whereby every minute counts, and when you're expected to be there can be no story. So let's be mindful of that so that we can save ourselves a lot of headache and a a lot of this is to do with our good, maintaining good time management, having self-discipline, and being able to, be realistic with our expectation. If you know you can't make it somewhere at 9 o'clock, there is no point in telling your employer you're going to be there at 10 to 9. So let's actually, you might find that if you're struggling, maybe logistic wise, in getting to your place of work, it's better to speak to your manager. It might be that you're going to have some shorter break for you, or work 10 minutes or 15 minutes, more. They can accommodate all of this. But if you don't talk to people, it will just look as if you're not meeting up to the demand and you're not taking your roles and responsibility seriously. Again, these can be achieved through good communication. So good communication in our relationship, between husband and wife, with our children, with our employer, very, very important. And if we can maintain that in all areas of our life, we would actually find that we will have, a much more enjoyable and meaningful kind of relationship with people. And at this junction, I need to bring in my fourth kind of area that I would like to talk about, which is to do with our, belief system, our religion, and basically to make sure that we try as much as possible to put everything in its rightful place. So I have had a situation of people that have unfortunately lost their jobs because they can't make it to work, maybe especially weekend job, or I don't do night, or I can't make it to work on Monday. We need to realize that we're living in a system whereby nobody's going to be listening to all this kind of story. The system does not believe in any miracle. I know we're all aware of this. Living in the UK, if you do not work to meet up to the demand, even if people should, take pity on you and give you some money to tide you over this month or next month, that is just a one-off. It's not something that you can plan your life, around, especially if you've got children and other expectations and responsibility. So it is very important that we realize that sometimes we might need to work weekend, you might need to work, night. We need to be reasonable. We need to be realistic. We need to not have that mentality of there is one miracle somewhere that is just going to, do all this. And we need to, tap into our own, critical thinking ability and knowing what we need to do, in order to be able to maintain, good balance between our, work, and of course our faith system and whatever else we need to do. So let's talk to people. Let's make sure that we keep the line of communication going. If for whatever reason you just cannot make it, you need to speak up. You need to let people know, and by so doing, the respect will come. You'll be respected, they'll respect you. But when it becomes a pattern that we always think that we can have our way because this is what my pastor says, that is when it becomes an issue. So this is another area that I think is very important that we look into. We dig deeper, we're realistic with ourselves, and we speak to other people if we are still struggling, that can give us that good support, useful advice, and that will be based on their own experience, on their own knowledge, on whatever they've been through as well, that could help you. So please, let's be mindful of this. Very, very important. And we need to understand as well that the way, if we are happy at home, if our home situation is good, we try. Nobody got it. There's no perfection anywhere, but at least you got good relationship with your spouse, with your employer, with your children. It has a long way as well to keep us at peace in order for us to be able to meet up with all the demands of life, and that is just common sense really for all of us. And then last but not the least, is in the area of how we can set good goals and priorities for ourselves. And again, that is in line with what I was saying about even our job situation, our home situation, our financial demands, and all other expectations within our own immediate environment. Charity begins at home. So let's be realistic about what we can and cannot do. And if that means we need to, talk to other people that are not living in this system as we are, we need to be realistic, we need to be honest, we need to let them know what our challenges are. There is no point in not being able to meet up with the demands of the financial demands of where you're living, and then we think we have that expectation to be doing other things. And between husband and wife, this is why it is always useful to have that line of communication going, because what would be somebody's priority might not be the other one, but your priorities needs to be the same, and the way we look at it is going to determine what a peaceful home we can maintain. I mean, personally speaking, there is no point if your roof is leaking for you to be aiming to go and fix somebody else's gate. These are the things we need to think about. What are the impacts of what we are doing? What our priorities are on our children, on our even mental health? Do you need time to rest yourself, or do you just want to be living in work so that you can, it's lovely to be kind, it's lovely to be charitable, but let's manage our own expectation even on ourselves as well. Of course, there's more. I always say to people, there is more happiness in giving than in receiving. And of course, if there is any way we can help other people, even in our thoughts, in whatever way, our resources, surely we must do that. Surely, as a human being, we wouldn't even need to be asked twice. But in a situation whereby we're struggling ourselves, we're still trying to hold it together in order to, be able to have that good ground in ourselves, we need to be careful that we're not biting more than we can chew. We need to speak to people around us. We need to engage with them in a useful way. And we need to not expect too much of ourselves as well, in such a way that we place so much stress and pressure on ourselves, and then, you even become ill. So many other areas of our lives needs to be looked into. Your spirituality, your mental health, your physical health, your psychological, your home, everything needs to be looked into. So these are just the areas I thought I'll speak to, about this afternoon. As I said, in our marriage, good communication, let's keep it going. With our children, again, let's keep it going. And of course, with our work situation, depending on, which industry you are, again, let's make sure that we meet up to the demand, we do what we need to do, or the expectation placed on us. If you're struggling, talk to somebody. Don't leave things to escalate. It's the same with your marriage. Don't leave things to escalate and get to the point, whereby then your marriage then, it's just not what anybody wants for you. So basically, it is sad to see somebody that, both of you, maybe, somebody that just walked away from their marriage, and both of you've been together for 10 years, for 15 years, and all of a sudden, you can't seem to find a way forward. It's very, very sad. And a lot of these can be actually avoided through good and useful communication, and being reasonable, being realistic, setting good goals, and of course, talking. Just keep talking to one another, keep listening, and in so doing, we can go a long way. So these are the things I said that, I just thought I would speak about this afternoon. So as I said, if you do enjoy this content, please do like, share, subscribe, and as I said, any comment is more than welcome. And so you all have a beautiful afternoon, and weekend is coming now. Enjoy your weekend. Keep positive, keep going, and I wish you all the best. And once again, this is Simply Grace saying good afternoon to you all. Bye.